Rushanara Ali.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Self-employment is a vital part of our economy. People who are genuinely self-employed deserve to be properly supported while ensuring that everyone pays the right amount of tax. And while we welcome the extension to 2021, it's crucial that we ensure that there's levelling up and protection of people's rights, whether they're in the public or private sector. And that's why a joined-up approach is required in bringing together consideration of tax and employment law and protection for the self-employed. And I now also want to turn to my wider concerns about the Finance Bill, Madam Deputy Speaker. With every passing day, it is clear that we're entering a severe recession, which is going to lead to more poverty, inequality and unemployment if we don't, greater unemployment if the government isn't bold in its response. The Office of Budget Responsibility has already said that the economy could shrink by 35%, with unemployment soaring to 2 million. Youth unemployment is likely to reach 1 million, with an additional 640,000 young people being made unemployed. And we desperately need to support them so that they have hope for the future and we don't lose another generation. They need job guarantees, training and mentoring and support from wider society. We also need to make sure that the Finance Bill, which currently could do so much more, given it was conceived of before the crisis, that the ministers look at the areas where the government's programmes following COVID doesn't go far enough, leaving many out. So the first is the job retention scheme. And while I welcome the extension to October, many employees are not clear about what their contribution needs to be in the furloughed salaries. That needs to be clarified, and I hope the Minister will do that. And the research by the New Start of Justice campaign found that 83% of its members received no universal credit for April. Madam Deputy Speaker, how does the government expect them to survive for 8 months with no income or welfare? Also, those in the hospitality sector face huge challenges because they don't qualify for support. Between 350,000 and 500,000 remain unable to be furloughed despite the extension of the job retention scheme. When in the Treasury Select Committee, the Right Honourable Member for Cambridgeshire was asked about these issues, he talked about trade-offs and sharp edges in terms of avoiding the risks of fraud. But these are not people who are committing fraud. These are hard-working people, hundreds of thousands of them, who are getting no support from this government. And it is wrong, and it must be corrected. And I hope the Minister will say something about this, because they desperately need our support. The IFS found that estimates that 2 million people who are freelancers in sectors such as the arts and entertainment and the creative industry sector, and who receive self-employment income are not covered by the scheme, while 675,000 people who get over half their income from self-employment will not be covered. The government needs to act to help them. Finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, there are also those who are left out who are limited company directors, and local government needs support from this government. Only 3.2 billion of emergency funding has been provided, and yet there's a shortfall of 10 billion. They desperately need this government to act now so that they can cope with the crisis. My own local authority has lost income of 35 million and will have to spend an extra 25 million to address the coronavirus crisis. Madam Deputy Speaker, the government needs to make sure that it is prepared for tough times. The bill doesn't, and this particular change doesn't address the bigger crisis that's looming ahead of us.